So this year's Christmas Dessert Theater was actually in about 6 different parts. First, we recorded the piano. Next, we recorded the orchestra. Then we recorded the ensemble and solos. Then the choir ladies had a day, the choir men had a day, and we ended with the stage recording and the cast. Today, I'm here with the production planning crew. So how about you guys go ahead and introduce yourselves?
Jonathan Noggle. I'm sort of involved, I guess.
There you go. I'm the Minister of Music and kind of the executive producer.
And I'm Melissa O'Rear, and I directed.
So, a virtual Christmas Dessert Theater. Can somebody tell us about the process, the thought process behind this?
When the virus hit in March, of course, we're already planning Christmas at that time. And as lockdowns and restrictions increased, we started considering options, and we looked at, I guess really from ignorance, we thought, well, let's just pre-record this thing. We've got the technology, and let's encourage a church virtual event, which is what we are in the process of doing.
All right, so this question is actually for Melissa. So you were asked to be a director walking into a project where you didn't know people and you didn't know what we were doing. So what did you think when you first heard about the concept?
Well, I'm always excited to do new things. So I was excited to take this on, but also a little hesitant just because I've never directed. I know we weren't directing a film, we were directing a staged play, but you still kind of had to think a little bit differently, and getting into it was fun because it did feel like a stage. But once Danny and Jay and I sat down and we were thinking more about the angles, that's when it really hit me, like, oh, we actually are filming this thing. So really not until like halfway through when we were talking about how we were filming did I really had to start thinking differently as a director as far as angles go, which was a new process that I've never taken on before. But I've really enjoyed it, and being a part of being a new member at Vista Grande, it was a great experience to just jump in and meet people and be a part of this project and the area of serving. So it was nice to use what I know to bring this project to life.
So and this is for everybody, what were some of the unique challenges that you faced doing this virtually? Melissa talked about a few of them.
Well, pre-recording in pieces, doing the orchestra, thinking about social distancing so that they're safe as they play, refining that recording so that we could then use it as the accompaniment track essentially for all of the other recording pieces. How do we prepare the choir? How do we give the choir something that's helpful beyond just the orchestra? When they do their recording, we're recording individual voices. We have folks that are accustomed to singing in a group, and they're really kind of prefer that their voice be hidden in the group. And now we're giving them a microphone and saying, you're essentially a soloist. Working through all those logistics and figuring out how we were going to do it, and timing and all of those pieces was just all brand new. I've recorded a choir before, but in doing that, I just essentially paid the recording studio and we showed up and did our thing. This was entirely different.
And I think for me, because there were so many parts and pieces that weren't in the room during rehearsals, you'd be working on a scene and then like, oh yeah, we don't have, that's the recording part. So we need to like fake our way through that part or whatever. So just being in the rehearsal, but then knowing that there's still parts and pieces being added on all the time, and that it's not all at once like it normally would be.
We want it to look like it happened all at once, but
which it does, which is very impressive.
But certainly that was not the process.
So on the flip side of that, what were some of the advantages to doing this virtually?
Well, musically particularly, there were things that we could go in and fix. If an instrument held on too long, we could simply stop them at the same time as all the other instruments. If we had, let's say we were recording the basses, we had one bass that didn't get it right, we can simply silence his voice on that one note. So in that respect, we have the potential to make it better than a live performance.
Yeah, I think we have a lot of advantages with the editing process that Danny, you did a lot of. We had 2 nights of recording, which is rare. And so we could kind of pick and choose which versions of the lines or the songs that we liked better to put into the final version. So in that regard, it's almost like you get 2 chances.
And as they mentioned, if something goes horribly, horribly wrong, there's a chance that you just start over and no one will ever know.
Which we did on some of the songs.
Mm-hmm.
So what was your favorite part?
For me, it was seeing it come together. Listening to the recordings that we'd made with the orchestra, adding the voices, getting those mixed in and thinking, this is really going to work.
I like the rehearsal process. I like seeing where actors are at the beginning of a process and then seeing them grow to the end of the process. And then, yeah, sitting down and seeing the final edited version was a real treat, like Jay said, just seeing it all come together, and you don't really know how it's going to come together till that moment. So yeah, that was pretty special seeing it all.
All right, so the title of this year's Christmas presentation is An Unexpected Christmas. Did this go how you expected, and what was it that you did expect?
I'm grateful for a planning group to work with. I think we developed a very good plan and a very good timeline. Actually, it went the way I expected, even though I had doubts about whether or not it would work.
Yeah, I think I didn't come in with any expectations per se. So, I mean, working with the church for the first time and then on a film version, I think I just did what I knew. And I don't know if there was anything completely unexpected that happened, but I think I'm just impressed with how smoothly it all actually went for everyone doing this for the first time.
I think part of the beauty of the situation was that the message of the piece kind of matches the message of this year. Everything has been unexpected, and God gave us the opportunity with the music and the dramatic piece to actually share that story while still focusing on him as the rightful place.
The unexpected piece was actually doing the production in this manner. This process would never have occurred to me as a possibility had we not been really forced into the situation that we were in. It was either no Christmas dessert theater or it was pre-record and pre-produce.
So what should the audience expect?
An audience familiar with our Christmas dessert theater should expect an entirely different experience. The musical itself is different from anything we've done before that I can recall in the way that it's set up. And the message is truly designed to touch everyone in some way. Christmas is not the most wonderful time of the year for everyone. This musical recognizes that and addresses it.
Yeah, just to piggyback off of what Jay was saying, I think the message of this season is pretty clear, and I'm really proud of us for making that clear in the editing process and in the moments in the scene. So there's some really nice moments between characters that some are struggling, some are just trying to find the season, the meaning of the season. So I think the audience can expect there to be some pretty strong acting and the message to be there and to be willing to share that with their neighbors.
Awesome. Well, does anybody have anything else that they would like to add or share?
I just think everyone works so hard and we're so committed to this process, from the musicians to the actors to you guys. Like everyone was just so in it and so committed to keeping dessert theater alive. So it was really wonderful to be a part of.
The commitment was strong, and the time commitment, especially from the technical team, and primarily Danny and David, who were responsible for music recording as well as video recording, we have to remember this is an all volunteer team. Only 2 of us in this interview and only 2 of us in the whole presentation get paid for being at the church and doing this work. So we have to keep that in mind, and I think it's an extraordinary accomplishment.
For sure. So on behalf of our CDT planning team, I invite you to come and be a part of this year's CDT presentation of An Unexpected Christmas, premiering Sunday, December 13th at 6 p.m. Tickets are available to download and share at vgbc.org/CDT.